Hello and good morning. I'm here to tell you some thoughts that I have about insurance, and I'm not coming from a biased perspective. I know that sounds a little bit biased, but it's true. I've been interviewing my dad and my sister for the past a year and a half about insurance because I help with the social media, and I thought it was very important for me to give you my honest feedback and thoughts. I'm currently right now 35 years old, and so that gives you an idea about where I'm coming from. I actually don't even know if I have insurance myself, but I'll walk you through some of my thoughts. I'm currently in my house right now, and I want to do this as natural as possible. And to be honest, I didn't even rehearse anything or plan anything. It's just things that I have in my mind. So let's go to insurance. Philippines, well, you just never know what kind of medical conditions you're gonna get into. Now, being 35, I'm sure you can understand, or I'm sure you can remember what it was like being in your teens. Oh my gosh, you just want to go out and party and drink because your body's still technically in a good condition, for most people at least. Now, when you reach your 20s, you'd probably be working a lot and being very idealistic. That at least was my case. I was thinking that, okay, I'm gonna I came from a corporate background, so I was thinking I'm gonna crunch those numbers. I thought everything revolved around work. And entering my 30s, I realized it's not all about work. You need to spend a lot of time with your family, and then you start to realize your body isn't as great as it was when you were a teenager. So if I have, say, a glass of wine, sometimes I get a headache. If I have a bottle of beer, or if I maybe drink 5 bottles of beer, I literally get drunk and my body doesn't feel great anymore. So my tolerance is so low. My body's dying for a healthier lifestyle. Like, I love to go hiking, I love camping, I really like to do yoga and meditation. So definitely how I am now in my 30s is different from my 20s, I guess. Oh, and my teens too. I guess what I'm saying is, when you get older, your health inevitably, well, knock on wood, your health inevitably might not be as great as it was before. And so going back to insurance, interviewing my dad, I've seen a lot of positives about getting insurance at a younger age. First, when you get insurance and you don't have any preconditions, meaning you're not currently sick, you don't have any cases medically, your premiums, or what I would say is the cost of your insurance, health insurance, medical insurance, HMO, I have to get back with you exactly what's the difference between all of those three. But when you get it at a younger age with no pre-existing conditions, it's much cheaper. And then when you, I'm so sorry if the dogs are noisy, and then when you claim it, say something happened, touch wood again, touch wood, hopefully nothing happens, but say you develop, I don't know, for women, my dad said that the most common cancer is breast cancer, and for men it's prostate. If that happens and you need to have several checkups, that's included with your insurance, medicines, doctor's fees, and all. Sorry, it's so dark here. Again, I mentioned this is very candid. Oh my goodness. I think this is not the best way to take a video. It's so candid. And speaking of, I actually have this spoon. It's from a yogurt place. I'm trying to be healthy as well. I love ice cream. Who doesn't, right? I'm gonna talk down where there's a little bit more sunlight. Guys, please be quiet. I'm recording. So instead of getting the typical Dairy Queen or McDonald's ice cream, I've tried to get Froyo, frozen yogurt, because it's healthier. So I'm trying to make healthier decisions just because my body's actually telling me to make healthy decisions. Not because I want to necessarily. I mean, who doesn't love hot chocolate fudge from McDonald's or Jollibee? But my body tells me that if I want to stay healthy and feel good, I have to make better decisions. And again, I mentioned going back to insurance. Yeah, eventually in age, you might require some form of proper health maintenance, or some form of medicine, or even buying they're so cute. This is Sophie and this is Brittany. So yeah, so eventually I would like to try to cut down on a lot of salt and sugar and things like that. So going back to insurance, my dad did mention for men it's prostate cancer. that is one of the dada. Well, my dad's not really dressed at the moment. He's gonna put on a proper shirt. Dada, is it prostate for men? That's a common cancer, no? That when they claim insurance.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you heard but it's prostate for men, breast cancer for women, and it just depends on the degree of the cancer. But it can get really expensive. If I'm not mistaken, my dad had mentioned that every month, one of his customers who was claiming for prostate cancer, his bills was reaching about 500,000 Philippine peso. Now I don't know what that is in US dollars, but almost 500,000 pesos every month he had to pay for maintenance meds, checkups, probably chemotherapy and all that. So, you know, insurance was able to pay for that. So please check as well before you think that, oh my gosh, it's gonna be a magic or a miracle that like insurance will pay for everything. That is not the case. You do have to get your insurance, again, as I mentioned, when you're younger and you don't have any pre-existing conditions. What I know is that, say you do have pre-existing conditions, insurance, so you have to get it 1 year prior before anything will be reimbursed or anything will get paid for. So say oops, Brittany, I almost tripped. A lot of accidents do happen in the house too, but so say you already have okay, it looks like my dad's a little bit dressed. Dad, I've got a question. And we're doing a very candid video. My dad doesn't have to, he's like so shocked. Okay, Dad, say someone discovers that he has cancer, and then it's like, oh my god, oh. And you know, it's still a young age, and then they decide to get insurance. Is that possible?
It's still possible, but you have to fill up an application form. The application form will go through a process of and then it will be decided on by the insurance company if it can be covered or not.
Okay, so we have to wait. So, you know, there's a little bit of like a waiting process there. Ideally, get it before you have any pre-existing conditions. Dad, you mentioned something about if a person is sick and then they get insurance 1 year prior, and then they just have to wait 1 year before stuff will be covered. What kind of conditions will that be? What kind of pre-existing conditions are those? For medical, anyway.
I cannot say exactly what pre-existing conditions by definition are medical conditions that you have prior to the effectivity of your policy. So pre-existing can be a lot. Can be cancer, can be heart condition. It can be a lot of medical conditions that you had prior to applying for insurance. So there's so many ways, so many medical conditions that are possible. That's why we normally recommend that you get your insurance as early as possible, so that if a condition arises after 1 year, then there's no reason for the insurance company not to pay the claim, because the 1 year waiting period has been prescribed.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I was mentioning. I guess in your mid-30s, this is a good time to get it. If you're like me, I'm so far still okay, but as I've mentioned, yeah, I just can't do the same things I used to do when I was a teenager. Now, my sister actually just gave birth 3 days ago, and I was thinking, wow, wouldn't it be great if there was maternity insurance or prenatal insurance? Dada, okay, my dad's like trying to sort out the fan. It's like 37 degrees Celsius here in Manila. Okay, I think I really should help my dada. Ooh. I need help. Dada, I can get it. Because I do have a question, Dad. And also, here in the house, my mom mostly is taking care of, well, my sister's baby will be coming here, so that's one human to take care of. And my grandma is actually nearing 90 years old, and she's in the kitchen. Lala, I'm recording.
Oh, Okay.
How are you this morning?
I'm fine, thank you, Christian.
Did you have lunch already or breakfast? Oh no, it's morning. What am I saying? Morning.
I took my breakfast just now.
Okay. What was it Mom prepared for you?
Yes.
What did she give you?
Coffee, bread and butter, and cheese. I love
Ooh.
cheese. How about you? Did you have breakfast now?
I'll have brunch after this video. Okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna interview Nam Dada.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, thank you, Lola. So there you have it. Our house is. It might look a little. Lola, is it okay if I turn off the light? Like any? Wait, I can't remember. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, there we go. I think that's the one a while ago. So right now the house might look a little empty, but in about 2-3 days, depending when my sister gets released or when she gets, what's the word, dismissed?
Discharge.
When she gets discharged from the hospital, she and her husband and the baby will be here. My Lola's here. So my mom is definitely, she's got her hands tied, and you know, sometimes I can see her, she's pretty stressed. So there's a lot of causes, there's a lot of medical conditions that can arise from stress. So and then my dad's here, my brother, me, and there's like 3 dogs. There's like 10 people in the house, and it's really good to kind of not anticipate it, because technically you might be doing the law of attraction. I don't know if you believe in that, but you know, if you're stressed and you do need a medical checkup, I know insurance does pay for your yearly medical. Yearly? Wait, let's ask my dad just to be sure, because again, I'm just giving you my thoughts. Dada, does insurance does insurance include a medical checkup? Say, because I met with my friend yesterday, and he said he hasn't had a blood test in 5 years, and then finally he did recently, and and he discovered that he has a fatty liver. So does insurance include a medical checkup, like just to say for blood test?
Yeah, if you have an HMO, it's covered, no?
Okay.
So HMO means Health Maintenance Organization. It's a package deal of inpatient, outpatient, doctor's consultation, laboratories, inpatient and outpatient. So if you have a HMO, that's fine. They'll cover it.
Insurance, and I'm just learning this for the past year and a half, maybe close to 2 years. There's so many different types of health insurance, medical insurance, HMO. There are different packages, so, and different prices as well, and that also depends on your current condition. So really, if you are interested or looking into it, there's no harm. You can always contact us. My dad has been in the insurance business for how many years, Dada?
40 years.
Imagine that, 40 years. And so that began in the 80s, 90s? 80s. And I'm sure insurance has evolved ever since. Now something just popped in my mind. I did mention that oops, oh my gosh, I actually just put medicine on the dogs recently here, so gotta wash my hands. My sister just gave birth. Dad, what's maternity insurance or prenatal insurance like? Or is it possible to get prenatal insurance?
Of course, it's possible, provided you get it 365 days before you give birth.
Okay, so an hour, a year prior?
Yeah, if you get it prior before you give birth, or 12 months before you give birth, it is covered. So they'll pay for the usual expenses of maternity, pregnancy, doctor's fees, hospital bills, anything related to it.
Okay. So if you're not planning to have a baby, too bad, I guess. I'm not really sure how that works, but as my dad mentioned, get your insurance 1 year. So plan when you want to have a baby. My sister's actually in her 40s already, so I actually think that's a good what's a food for thought. A lot of women are getting pregnant later on in age. Why? Because you know, it depends if you're in my situation, I'm in the millennial category. I think my sister, Daddy, what came before the millennial? Gen Z's after me.
Baby boom.
Oh, baby boom. Okay, my sister's part of the baby boomers. Baby boomer. No, that's you, Dad. You're the baby boomer.
I'm a baby boomer.
Yeah, what's the niece generation?
I don't know.
Okay, so anyway, my sister came before the millennial. That's me. So we like to put our careers first for some reason, and it's not just happening here in the Philippines, but I know all over the world. Women are giving birth later and later in age. So if you do want to have a kid, my sister's been struggling to get pregnant for so many years, and finally in her 40s she got pregnant and gave birth. Here's the thing, she actually had a C-section because of high blood complications, etc., etc. She actually told me the exact condition she had. So initially she wanted to have a water birth, which is natural, and you know, but that wasn't the case. She had to get a C-section. The baby's very healthy, congratulations. But again, if you want a baby and you're in your 40s, I really think it's a good idea to get insurance. And so that's, my dad mentioned, the insurance paid for the doctor's fees, the operating procedures. Oh, I found it. Oh my goodness. I need to give this to the doggos. Hey, you, I found a tick. I mentioned in the Philippines, 37 degrees Celsius is hot. So during this time, there's a lot of ticks or garapata or fleas and dogs. I don't know, they just like to come out during the heat. And we don't have Lyme disease, thank the Lord. But I know in other countries, you can get some sicknesses from insect bite coming from dogs. So, I mean, any situation that can arise and then you get sick or even bitten with dengue, insurance covers that. Now, what about travel insurance? Hey, Sophie, you keep coming to me. Everyone loves to travel, and since the pandemic kinda was over, I mean in the Philippines sometimes you're still required to wear masks, but since the pandemic everyone's going cray with traveling, right? So it's called revenge travel. What does insurance cover you? Let's run to the expert. So we're not gonna name all of it because it's like so long. But for the immediate travel insurance, Daddy, what's the most claimed travel insurance?
The most claims, of course, accidents. Because, but of course, aside from accidents, you have other potential claims, like if you lose your luggage.
Daddy, can I just mention something? Sorry. A lot of people think that travel insurance is just about travel, let's say plane tickets, accommodations, and things like that. But what I actually didn't know is that if you get travel insurance, it seems like part of it is medical insurance, isn't it, Dad? Like, yep. Right?
Travel insurance includes both medical and other forms of accidents or related incidents relating to travel. No? So it doesn't only refer to sickness or accidents. It also refers to other things, like if you lose your documents, if there's a flight delay, if you lose your luggage. They even have They even have a service called translator, who, if you don't speak in English, they will assign a translator to help assist you in your claims.
Okay, my dad mentioned the other day, because we were doing stories and reels for YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Do follow us, by the way. It's RA ROCO Insurance, and if you are curious to know what else the insurance covers, we have 10-second videos, 15-second videos. Some of them are minute long. So you can learn more about insurance. That's the kind of things that we post. It's very informative, and I quite like I like following pages that are informative, so that I know what I'm paying for or what's inclusive of the insurance. But basically, going back to travel insurance, my dad mentioned in one of our stories that he had a customer or a client, and then the son was playing in the playground, and then the son fell off the swing or the seesaw, and then, oh my gosh, I think broke a ligament or a leg, was it?
No, broke an arm.
Broke an arm, which is really, oh my gosh, right?
It needed an operation so that they can put metal screws so that the bones will heal right away.
How old was the child? You know, more or less? Like probably less than 10 years old.
He's about 10 years old.
Yeah. So what happened? They were traveling. They were actually not in the Philippines. They were in the US of A. And they had to call 911. And yeah, I don't know if you're like a 90s kid, but in the 90s, there's a show called 911. And it just seems like, oh, it's too easy. Dial 911, they'll show up, they'll get you, and everything is, you know, it's magic, it's miracle. But no, it's actually so expensive. I found out if you call 911, they charge you a hefty amount, and I had no idea.
$2,000.
What is it?
$2,000.
Okay, that's 2,000. What's that in peso?
More than 100,000.
Oh my god, it's more than 100,000, and that's just to call 911. And that's, I feel like, I mean, obviously they'll pacify the injury and they'll make it better, but you know, of course, after that they're rushing you to the hospital. That's a separate bill. So more than, but that's like years ago too. So who knows what the rates are like nowadays? Probably a little bit higher. Hopefully the same. We don't know. So, I mean, traveling. Personally, for me, the last thing I think about is I'm gonna get injured or meet an accident, right? I don't know what your lifestyle is like, but I love to go diving. I love motorbiking. I used to have a big bike before. And I've always been a safe rider, but again, you have all these other elements around you. Even if you're a safe rider or driver, what if the person like next to you or to the other side or behind you is drunk and like just crashes right into you, right? So again, I don't want to do the law of attraction or anything, but it's quite good to have insurance. Now, oh, actually I have to ask my dad if insurance covers diving. As I've mentioned, I love to go diving. Dad, is diving included in travel insurance? Because I mean, that's the only thing I pay for really, because it's kind of required when I ride the plane. They look for travel insurance, especially when you're traveling outside the Philippines. So after travel insurance, I don't really buy any other insurance. Is diving part of, like say, I don't know, I've been safe, but like, say something happens and I'm diving. Because the other day, my friend went diving in Malapascua, that's over at Cebu. And they're known for thresher sharks, like white tips. I think white tips are great tips. Oh my god. But anyway, they're known for thresher sharks. And at 6 meters, when they were just descending into the water, he died. And I really, did you know that? Did I tell you?
No.
My friend is in Malapascua now and he passed away. Like 9, not my friend, but someone else. 6 meters. They really don't know what happened. Like just some complications. So that's like, oh my god. So yeah, this travel insurance cover diving.
Yes, if you're into recreational outdoors like diving, if something happens in a depth of 30 meters, the insurance company will pay for all your hospital bills.
What do you mean maximum? Only 30, right?
Yeah, because they say that recreational diving is normally within 30 meters.
Yeah, that's for advanced divers. So if you do get your license, so PADI, SSI, first one is open water course, second is advanced, and with open water, that's the first one, you're only allowed 18 meters. Oh my god, I'm trying to dig deep into my muscle memory. And the advanced diving license, then you're allowed to go up to 30. But anything after that, say you want to do cave diving or night trucks and things like that, have to research because I can't remember. So that's travel insurance, right, Dad?
Yeah,
Yeah, so it will only cover up to 30 meters. So like my friend's friend who passed away, I mean, there's nothing to cover with that anymore, right? That because he just passed away already. Does insurance cover anything after that?
There's any hospitalization, yes, it's covered.
No, like he's dead already. There's nothing
as long as
else.
there's no medical, then there's nothing to pay.
Okay. Dad, you mentioned something about like if there's an accident that occurs and then the person has to be brought home right away with flights and things like that. Can insurance pay for?
Yeah, it's called repatriation. Travel insurance covers repatriation, meaning to say if something happens to you while abroad and you passed away while abroad, the insurance company will take care of the expenses in bringing home the body from the travel place back to the country of origin.
Yeah, so this is really about my thoughts on insurance. There's so much practicality that goes into it. Again, the last thing you think about is any of these things, right? Because it's not the most pleasant things to be thinking about, but in very rare cases they do happen, and I just hope that in that situation, say they're really far away, like in Europe or in the UK, or well, UK is part of Europe in the continent-wise, but yeah, the whole Brexit thing. Anyway, or say they're like in the States, and they have to be brought back to the Philippines randomly, and their plane ticket is not flexible, non-rebookable and things like that, or non-refundable. So yeah, the insurance will pay for the flight or the transportation back home. That is that can be a big savings depending on, yeah, the plane ticket price. Like I've mentioned, revenge travel nowadays, a lot of airlines are charging top. Well, for me personally, during the pandemic, Qatar Airways, Emirates, and Singapore Airlines, those are the 3 airlines that I flew with. And ever since I would say late 2022, 2023, the prices have like massively doubled, and I don't know what's happening. It's like traveling right now is so expensive. My friend, who's half Australian, half Filipino, wanted to visit the Philippines he works in Vietnam, and his price tickets are just too expensive. So if that's the situation, an insurance company will pay for the flight details. Okay, what other insurance can I think about right now currently? So we've got prenatal insurance, we have travel insurance, medical insurance. Now for like a little bit of the shallow part, what about cosmetic surgery? From what I know, cosmetic surgery is not included in your insurance. Say you want to get a nose job, or you want to get your lips, or just whatever, maarte or superficial thingy that you want to do, or not superficial, maybe it makes you feel good, you want to fix your eyes or something. Insurance will not pay for that. But I have a question, Dada. You ready?
Okay.
Okay, and the question is, what if somebody is trying to get, say, a nose job, and then it went wrong? I mean, say, like, for example, like, it became a medical condition. It affected her. I don't know. Can that happen?
Anything that's related to cosmetic surgery is not covered by insurance.
Okay.
Unless you buy, a specialty insurance that covers cosmetic. But in general, like in the Philippines, they don't. Cosmetic is something that is not covered.
Okay. So make sure you have the budget in case everything doesn't go well. Now, while we were talking about that, we had another video the other day about warts. Now, how do you get warts? It's actually highly contagious. So say you go to a barber shop or you go to a salon, and their towel has somebody who previously had warts, and then they use that same towel on you because you're on a budget, and then just so happens months later you develop a wart, or days or weeks later. Insurance will actually cover the wart removal except for the ones on your face. So if you have warts is it neck below that, right?
They will cover warts in your body except the ones on your face.
Yeah. So yeah, just make sure that where you stay is clean enough. But like, say you travel a lot and you like to stay in hostels, or you commute and you just develop warts everywhere, just make sure you develop them neck below, or below the neck, so that the insurance will cover that. And there's Happy Boy. We're doing a spontaneous video about insurance, and there's a couple of things that actually I thought about just as we were talking about warts. Oddly, life insurance, I can't believe I didn't tackle that. That's one of like the main topics that I discussed with my dad. And later on we're gonna talk about oops, hi Scotty's my baby. Later on we're gonna talk about Poopy, come here. Oh, my baby, and Sophie. Oh no, I'm trying not to have favoritism. I love this girl Sophie, but this Poopy's my baby. Oh yeah, I heard Sophie growl a little bit. No poopster, no poop. Okay, let's talk about life insurance. Later we'll tackle. Hey, why growling? Later we'll tackle insurance for your gadgets, for your offices, for construction, for your condo unit, for your house, for fire. There's loads to tackle. So with life insurance now, from what I learned creating videos with my dad, alam mo naman, OFW, that's very that's quite common. There's a lot of Filipinos, and God bless them, because they're really working so hard, and it's not easy being, say, a seaman or an OFW, working away from your loved ones, and not just your family but your friends, and just being in the Philippines. I'm sure they must miss Filipino food. I'm sure there's Filipino food in most countries though, because Filipinos are everywhere. But if you have life insurance, Scotty, I think this is especially important for OFWs, I would say, just from the impression that I got. So, say you're working in a ship, or you're in construction abroad, say you're working in the Middle East, Dubai. Hey, Sophie, what are you doing? And then something happens to you, touch wood again. Say you've been supporting your family, you're an OFW, you've been supporting your family a fixed amount. Say, Daddy, what's a good Okay, Scotty, time for you to go down. Daddy, what's a good OFW amount usually that like they send back home? You don't know, no?
Well, I think it's about 2 million pesos.
Every year?
No. What do you mean? Money
No,
that's
like-
remitted back to
No,
Manila?
like the OFW, the Filipinos who are working abroad send money here. So let's say they send money for their children's schooling, for, I don't know, to buy shoes, or I don't know, they just send money back home.
So what's your question now?
So, how much is that usually? Because if something happens to the person, diba, the insurance continuously pays for that.
The insurance company will pay for if anything happens while you're abroad. So I think the coverage here is about 2 million pesos.
Ah, okay.
So it includes both life insurance, and normally includes accident, and also protection against income, loss of income.
Okay, that again would be a little bit specific because I'm trying to get a grasp.
If you're a driver and you meet an accident abroad, syempre you lose your income. So the insurance company will pay for the loss of your income for, I think, a year or two.
So for example, you can't, something happened to you, you're injured or what, and you're working abroad, and you can't go back to work, and you're not being paid every month, the insurance will be able to pay for that up to 2 million pesos, is that correct?
That's correct. Yes. So
Right.
the insurance company
Depending on how much your monthly salary is, the insurance will actually pay that same amount. Will pay for your salary, will pay the salary that you were earning. But Dad, what if, okay, I get it. Okay, here's the thing that I was like not knowing how to kind of tell you guys. So that's like, I wouldn't say the best case, but what if the OFW actually, doesn't make it out alive? Like, what if he passes away? What happens now to the family that he or she has been supporting back at home? So Dad, what happens if the OFW passes away?
The insurance company, it's very simple. The insurance company will just pay the heirs or the beneficiaries of the policy based on the contract that they have with the insurance company.
Oh.
So the money goes to the family, and that's it. Then the obligation of the insurance company is finished.
So, like, how much would that be? How much will...
As I mentioned, maybe it's about 2 million. Maybe it can be more depending on the contract of what they have
Yeah.
with the employers.
So, I would highly suggest... What kind of insurance is that called?
It's an OFW insurance. It's a requirement by the government, by the Philippine government, that when you travel abroad as an OFW, you are required to get insurance.
Right. So look into it. I'm not really. I mean, I didn't even. My background is technically. What's my background? It's not insurance, but taking notes on all of these informations. I thought it was very important to share with you all the things that I've been learning, so we can actually learn together. Now with fire insurance, there's a lot of fires that goes on in the Philippines, and sometimes our fire department, I don't even know the number, Dad, what number to dial when there's fire?
No, I don't.
I don't even know, because by the time the firefighters get there, the establishment is gone. And most of the time when I was young, I remember seeing the Binondo firefighters more than actual government firefighters. So I'm not like dissing anything, or I'm not, this is just based on observation. I always see the Binondo firefighters, and Binondo firefighters is actually privately supported. It's not government supported. And so in places like Rockwell, BGC, Makati, a lot of people say that those places aren't representative of the Philippines just because that's such a small percentage. But I'm going back to, well, I think I'm deviating from the topic of insurance. Okay, let's go back to insurance. Fire insurance, Dad. Fire insurance. What does it what does fire insurance cover? I think there are two insurances, right? One is for condo and one is for the house.
It doesn't matter whether you live in a condo or in a residence. Fire insurance will cover for whatever happens if there's a fire causing damage to your unit or causing damage to your residence.
But that, I remember you said it doesn't cover condo.
There are two kinds of insurance. One is the standard insurance, which is fire and lightning. The other one is the comprehensive insurance, fire insurance, which covers other calamities like earthquake, floods.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna just tell the dogs to be a little quiet. Hey, what you barking at? Come on, Sophie. Come on, guys. Let's go. Now you're so noisy. No. Shh. No, Sophie. Sophie, come on. No. Sophie, inside. Sophie, let's go. Oh, my lordy. 3 dogs. By the way, these are 2 Aspens. They're both rescued. Brittany and Sophie, because we like to rescue animals. I've actually rescued Swissy, but he passed away already. Data fire insurance. So there are 2 kinds, right?
No, there are 2 kinds of insurance. One is a standard fire and lightning insurance. The other one is what you call comprehensive fire insurance. So, but mostly we issue policies that are comprehensive because you don't know what will cause a fire in the future. It can be an earthquake, it can be a flood, it can be other calamities, it can be what you call malicious damage.
So yeah.
So when there's a request for a fire insurance proposal, we normally recommend comprehensive fire insurance because we don't know, as I mentioned, we don't know what can cause a potential fire.
Oh wait, so does calamity include Ondoy, Odette, all of that?
It can even include aircraft falling in your unit or in your residence.
How about thief? Like if burglary, somebody just enters the house. No, that's
in some
else.
policies they cover it, but that is not a standard policy because theft or robbery is a separate. It's a separate coverage, but if it's a corporate account, normally most insurance company they include it already. They put it on as part of to sweeten the deal. Sometimes the insurance company includes it in the fire insurance policy.
Okay, so I honestly recommend that if you plan to get insurance, depending on what type of insurance, make a list of all the things you actually need in the insurance. Like what do you call it? Like have like a premonition. No, premonition is like you want it to happen. No. Just like think of all the things that could possibly happen, and then tell the insurance provider, okay, these are all the things that I really wish to cover. Is there anything else that I've missed out on? That's personally what I would do. I don't own my own house at the moment. I'm definitely tipid mode every time because I travel a lot. So I don't have a house, but if I did have a house, I would definitely look into it. Now, let's go to, so this fire insurance, that is it separate from house insurance? Is there such a thing as house insurance?
No, you don't say house. It's always fire insurance.
Okay, so see what I mean? You don't, yeah, well, okay, now going to your gadgets. Ever since the pandemic happened, there have been so many businesses that have closed down, and I'm really sorry about that. But also, there's a lot of businesses that have risen since then. But even before or after the pandemic, I still see a lot of businesses or shops open and close, right? So, what's an insurance called? Say if you are wanting to put up an office and then you're doing construction, right? So you want to design the theme of your shop, the theme of, say you have a burger joint, and you want to design the theme, and you have all these construction materials and the workers and things like that. Dada, what do you call that insurance?
Construction all risk, or CAR, or construction all risk insurance. So it's a kind of insurance that will cover for any damages arising from the construction of a building or for a residence. So it can mean a lot. It can mean soil erosion. It can mean even fire, typical fire. It can even mean robbery of your materials, etc. So it's a construction all risk.
Construction all risk. Now, I just learned that recently because, yeah, I thought about it, and a lot of my friends are putting up coffee shops, and some of them are putting up pubs. So, say all of a sudden it rains and like the material that you're using for cement, just erosion is included, data, right?
Erosion, yes.
Okay, and then also if I remember correctly, burglary. So say the day is over, construction is not finished. Obviously, it doesn't take one day to finish a construction, right? So you left all the materials there, and then what if the next day they come back and then half a kilo of, I don't know, nails or wood or whatever material you need is gone? What if burglary happens? That construction all risk.
Then burglary is covered, but of course it goes through a process. You file a claim, the insurance company will process it, and they'll pay based on the authenticity of the claim.
But Dad, isn't it before you get that insurance, you have to already have an estimate of how much all the materials will cost?
That's part of the when you file a claim, you also attach all you have to attach all the invoices, the sales invoice, and all these documents relating to the construction of your unit.
Yeah, so, insurance companies are smart. I mean, I'm not going to deny that. It's not like you just get insurance and automatically, woof, they're going to pay for everything. So you really have to make sure that if you do get construction all risk, or even medical and all that, you really have to make sure that you take account, or not medical, but even the fire insurance. Wait. Let's not lose my favorite thought. When you do construction, make sure that you know how much you're going to spend. Make sure you list everything. My question is, what if all the items are listed, the materials, and then all of a sudden something needs to be added and it's not part of the insurance anymore? What if last minute that they decided to put up a loft? So they have to get another insurance for that?
That's why it's called comprehensive construction all risk, because as the materials get into the premises, it's automatically covered.
Okay, so there you go. Something was just in my head a few minutes ago. Fire insurance, jewelry. What if jewelry not that I have any jewelry, I don't even like the word jewelry, but in houses, that what if burglary happens and then jewelry gets lost?
Jewelry and works of art are not covered under the standard fire insurance unless the works of art are certified and inspected by the insurance company.
Okay. So if you are an art collector, which I am not, and you like to collect, I don't know, what kind of art do we have here? Hidalgo. Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. My sister would know a lot. Cacnyo. Oh my god, okay, brain work. That's not covered by the insurance, but yeah, my dad says unless they're certified and there's actual certificate. And your certified paintings do get inspected by the insurance company. Now, going back to construction, a while ago, we mentioned while you're building or constructing a shop, the insurance, what's it called? All risk insurance? Comprehensive all risk.
Construction all risk.
Okay.
CAR. Construction all risk.
Construction all risk insurance will pay for any loss or even damages, right?
Anything related, any incidents or damages that caused while there's ongoing construction of your unit or your building.
Now, say you're finished constructing it, then yeah, you've got your laptop set up, you've got all the kitchen machinery. What happens now if something gets lost? Say in the middle of the night, somebody sneaks in your shop and decides to, take a few bits. Daddy, what kind of insurance is that? If somebody has a shop and then a laptop gets stolen or a machine breaks, say they have a restaurant.
There's a particular insurance. I don't have the name right now, but if you own an office building, if you operate an office and you have like computers or important
Gadgets.
Office materials, it gets stolen, it's covered by the insurance company, but it's called robbery or theft. No, the difference between robbery and theft is something that disappears from, like for instance, if you have a gadget and it disappears from your table, it's considered theft. Robbery is when there's forcible entry, which means if there's evidence of forced entry. For instance, the lock of the door was destroyed so that there's entry to your unit. It's called robbery. That's the difference between robbery and theft. But in the policy, normally they put both robbery and theft in the policy to make it simple in terms of claiming the insurance company.
I think it's also very helpful to have a CCTV camera. Will that be much faster in claiming the insurance, the theft or robbery insurance?
Of course, any evidence to show that there's authentic loss of materials due to theft or robbery, then of course CCTV is a big help.
Yeah. So I know it's a little more gastos, or gastos is Tagalog for like something that you're gonna be paying for, like expenses, gastos, expenses. I know that's like additional CCTV, but I really think it should be mandatory. I do know that they have certain price categories. If you want the CCTV camera that's just black and white, that's gonna be cheaper or more affordable than those CCTV cameras that are colored. And I know they have CCTVs also that has audio. That's gonna be more expensive than the ones that don't have. So there's a lot of price ranges that you can look into if you think that it's additional expenses. You never know. Again, knock on wood, everything goes smooth sailing. Now, going back to travel insurance, there's a funny well, it's not really funny if you think about it, but because of the heat now, some people can't really deal with it, so they get a heat stroke, or is it sunstroke? The medical insurance is covering that, right, Dad?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So that's included, but also my dad's, he knows he had a client that was walking on the beach inside the, he was just swimming along the shore. And then they were in Palawan, right? Your friend, and then he stepped on a stonefish.
Yeah, we were in El Nido, Palawan. And
You were there?
I was there, yeah, when it happened.
Oh my god, I thought it was my dad's client. He was actually there. Who was that?
One of the employees of the insurance company.
What?
Because
Really?
it's a company outing, so
What the heck?
so a lot of these employees were with us when we traveled.
So random. And this happened in Palawan?
He was walking without any slippers or any protective shoe, and he accidentally stepped on a fish that had poison.
That's so, I mean, I don't really walk with, I go barefooted a lot, in the beach especially. So, wait, how did he know he stepped on a poisonous fish? Because, I mean, I'm sure it would have felt like
Because
a rock.
the fisherman, because he had an allergic reaction, and the fisherman, the boatman, knew already that he was bitten by, because the boatman gets bitten a lot
All
by
the
this,
time.
all the time by these kinds of fish, and they knew right away that this is an allergic reaction to that kind of poisonous fish. So he was rushed to the clinic.
And how many minutes till he found out that
In
there
a
was
few
allergic?
minutes, because he was, he had already, he was turning red, and he
Oh
was.
my.
There's already a reaction on his body. He was feeling nausea and etc. There were, indications show that there's a poison that he got from that fish.
I think this video has a lot to do with like kwentuhan. Kwento is Tagalog for telling stories. Kwentuhan, like to tell stories. So I think one thing I can say about this video is just like sharing thoughts, incidents, experiences, and things like that. I personally had food poisoning in Baguio more than 2 times, so like maybe 4 times. And I know a lot of people like to have their corn in the cup, steamed corn, ihaw is grilled corn. That's very popular food in Baguio, and also even banana Q, which is my favorite, and turon. And I always get that, but just occasionally, some of them are not clean, and I get food poison, so I was rushed to the hospital a lot. Insurance will cover your ER, your emergency room, inpatient, right, Dad, or outpatient. Outpatient is just if you just visit, right? You're not confined. Insurance covers
Outpatient means that you're in the hospital only for less than 18 hours.
that. Okay.
That's considered an outpatient.
Outpatient.
So anything below 18 hours is considered outpatient, and you're sent home, then it's considered outpatient.
Yeah. So if you do get rushed to the hospital, insurance will cover that. So food poisoning is one of the things that is covered by your insurance. So you just never know, especially those who have a very sensitive stomach. I would like to think my stomach is not sensitive because I eat a lot of old food, and sometimes I take off the mold naman, like I remove the molds, but yeah, you just never know, right? Okay, there's another insurance that I thought of. Again, I'm getting a mental block. Yeah, but so a lot of this, a lot of our stories right now is just telling you about my personal experience and the things that I've learned from RA Insurance. Okay, yeah, now I remember. My friend also was in... Why does everything happen in Palawan, Dad? Because my friend was also walking around Palawan. And he was bitten by... Guess what? Guess what? Can you guess what he was bitten by? In Palawan.
In Palawan, the fish, it might be a stone fish.
Yeah. No, I was talking about my friend. He got bitten by a monkey. Yeah, right. So he was trying... I think he was feeding the monkey, and I don't really know if that's the best idea because the monkeys are cute, they're adorable, they're smart creatures. You just don't want to get too close, but you know, you also want to respect their boundaries as well because we're entering there. They were there before we were, so that's their home. Yeah, he was feeding bananas, and I think the monkey just decided to bite him. Maybe the food he was given wasn't yummy, or it didn't taste good, or it wasn't enough. So yeah, he was bitten. And guess what? That area, actually, they ran out of vaccines, which is odd. And so he had to take a flight back to Manila, which he actually didn't because he said he still had another tour the following day. He stayed on the island for 2 more days, and then that's when he flew back to Manila, which is cray. Dad, I have a question. My friend got bitten by a monkey, and then the vaccination wasn't included, and say he has to get a plane ticket back to Manila. Will the insurance pay for that or no? Because that's not relating to death. If you've seen the part before this, like scroll back, we talked about if you pass away in another area and you need to get brought back here, the insurance will pay for that, but that's only if you've passed away. What about if the monkey bites you and then you need to go home and cut your trip? I don't is that included?
There are 2 kinds of insurance that you're talking about. One is the travel insurance, and one is the regular medical insurance.
Yeah.
Under the regular medical insurance, dog bites and animal bites and even human bites are covered on the first treatment.
Okay.
So
First treatment
only. So and normally that's administered during on outpatient when you're in the hospital. After the first treatment, any expenses after that, it's to your account already.
Okay, well, what if like he needs to rush back to Manila because the Palawan didn't have the...
If there's a travel, if he is covered by a travel insurance, the they call it emergency airlift is covered under that policy.
Hey, that's so amazing. Emergency airlift. So I'm actually learning something now too. So that's part of the travel insurance now?
Yeah, it's part of the travel insurance. Airlift, as I mentioned, repatriation of body, and all other related expenses relating to the travel is covered by the travel insurance.
But they have to check, right? Just to make sure. I mean, make sure that your travel insurance is covered. Airlift is included in the travel insurance, right? I have a funny feeling not all travel insurance will have the airlift.
I think it's covered by standard.
Should be.
You know, it's already covered. Insurance companies have that part already covered under travel insurance. Airlift, repatriation, and all other expenses relating to the travel is covered by a travel insurance.
Yeah, just make sure airlift. Make sure that that's part of the travel insurance. I posted a video the other day, and my friend actually thought about getting insurance for his mom. Hi, Miko. I don't know if you're watching this. Yeah, he thought that okay, his mom's getting, you know, to that age where maybe she could have some medical conditions. Dad, what's the age limit that, say, I don't know, you decide to get like si Miko, diba, Denise's friend, wanted to get insurance for the mom. But yeah, she's obviously old na. What do you advise for that? I mean, assuming she had maybe high blood or something, how does that work? Hi, Brittany. How does that for insurance,
Insurance,
for old age?
yeah, there's what you call an insurance for old age, and it's under classified as a medical insurance. It's no longer an HMO, because most HMO companies they terminate the contract when they reach the age of 65. So after 65, you have to graduate from an HMO coverage to a medical insurance, and medical insurance covers up to age 99.
Okay. So what exactly is the difference, Dad?
No, the difference is HMO is a package deal. It includes inpatient, outpatient, emergency, doctor's fees, etc. A medical insurance normally covers only inpatient.
But didn't you mention that if the person previously had HMO before, what's the
Take over. If you have an HMO and you upgrade to the medical insurance, normally the process there is you fill up an application form, and the insurance company will process your application form and what you call take over your current HMO, so that the coverage is continuous and there's no lapse in terms of coverage.
So does it mean that the price of the medical insurance will be the same as the HMO? Or what's the
medical
positive?
insurance is what you call age bracketed. So it depends on the age, the time that you applied for an insurance, medical insurance. So which is normally slightly higher than what the HMO company offers, because the medical insurance has a bigger coverage in terms of inpatient benefits.
Okay, but is there any positives or benefits to having HMO before moving to the medical insurance? Like say they got the HMO when they were still fit, and then all of a sudden, they have to get converted to the medical because of old age, and they have like illnesses now. Is there any benefits to having HMO prior, or can they not have the HMO and then just decide to get a medical insurance?
No, the idea of an HMO is really because it's a package deal. Normally, the HMO is suited really for the employees, because the employees, it covers inpatient, outpatient, annual checkups, and all of this medically related to them. No? But the medical insurance is something different from the HMO in the sense that it has a bigger coverage for inpatient. Most HMO companies only covers up to 200,000 for inpatient, whereas medical insurance covers as low as 500,000 to as much as even 2 million or even higher medical insurance when you're confined. No? So that's a basic difference. That's why sometimes a lot of people would really opt to get medical insurance rather than HMO, because the HMOs are actually very small. These are small amounts.
There's more coverage. There's more coverage if you get a medical insurance, right?
No,
but
it's not more coverage. It has a higher inpatient coverage. The medical insurance offers a higher medical insurance coverage. Meaning to say,
if you get confined.
If you're confined, as you know, when you're confined, the bills really shoot up, and there's a big demand or concern about, especially if the cost of treatment is what you call recurring, for instance, like cancer, that can run to millions of pesos. So people like to protect themselves against the big ticket. They call it big ticket medical bills, no? Because the HMO is normally these are small amounts.
Wait, Dad,
Doctor's fees.
can they get medical before? I mean, at a younger age, then? Because you said you get turned over from HMO, you get turned over to medical at what age? 70, right, or 80?
It doesn't matter. Medical insurance is normally recommended to all ages. Doesn't matter because.
Okay.
Because it's the focus of a medical insurance is really for inpatient. A lot of people want to protect themselves against big ticket medical bills. So that's the focus of medical insurance. Whereas HMO, it's just it covers the other expenses like doctor's fees, checkups, a little of inpatient.
Okay, so not to make this video too long, one last thing I want to cover is it's called US dollar insurance versus what's that one? Because there were some positives and benefits in getting a US coverage, right? US dollar insurance compared to just the local one, Philippine peso insurance.
We now offer US based dollar policies because it gives you the option to be covered to be treated abroad.
Oh, that's actually, I think, yeah, I think that's such a nice. The U.S. is so far from the Philippines, and I mean, if you can relate, my mom's siblings are living there now, and a lot of Filipinos actually live in the U.S. So, but sorry, that's actually different. If you're a resident of the U.S., that's different, right? Because then you'd get insurance there. If you're a Filipino and you're traveling there, and then you need to get hospitalized in the U.S., what happens if what are the benefits of having, what's it called, dollar policy?
No, because the dollar policy pays you in US dollars. So which means if you go abroad and of course the bills are in US dollars, then the policy will cover all of that. No? Whereas if you just have a peso coverage and you go abroad and you get confined, they will only pay you whatever is the equivalent in peso, and you know how it is. The peso to a dollar is about 10 times more. In other words, if you get confined abroad, even for a simple operation like appendectomy, it will cost you probably $3,000 US.
What's that in peso? 3,000 US dollar?
You will multiply it by 50.
Okay, so
an operation would cost only say 50,000 pesos in Manila, but if you go abroad, that will cost you over maybe 500,000 pesos times 10. Times 10. The coverage when you get sick abroad, the bill in pesos is times 10. So if you think an operation here will cost only say 100,000 pesos, when you go abroad, that will cost at least 1,000 or even more. Or 1 million because times 10, di ba?
Yeah. That is gonna sum up our video. It's quite long. I hope that it's informative enough. If you have any questions, just comment on the box below. I would love to read them. Yeah, comment, ask questions, let's interact. And I actually love learning about insurance as well because I feel like it's very practical, it's very useful as a form of protection against just everything that we've tackled today. I'd like to say it's a necessity, but of course your finances will depend. Well, the insurance will depend on your finances. I suppose that is that true, Dad? Like, I guess it depends how much someone's earning, right? Like, what if they can't afford it? Okay, one last topic. What if they can't afford insurance? Is there any way that someone can get insurance and they can't afford it?
Government has what you call Philippine health insurance. So, but you know, it's a government. It's a mandatory government health insurance, which means if you're employed, you automatically get health insurance. But it's so small. It's very. It's just to say that you are covered. No? So the affordability is depending on your budget. No? If you have a budget for insurance, we recommend that you get a separate medical coverage aside from PhilHealth.
Yeah. There you have it. I really hope that this video was useful. I will see you soon on the next video. Check out our Facebook and Instagram, our TikTok. We actually forgot to mention we also have TikTok. It's just recently that I decided to put that just to get the word out there more about Philippine insurance, particularly because I was reading online, and Philippine insurance is definitely going to be different from other insurances that you'll find in, I guess, I don't know, India, US, Europe. Just always ask your insurance provider. We provide insurance as well. Just message us if you have any questions. The doggos right now have fallen asleep. I think my voice has literally become white noise. They have spaced out already. Oh my god, she's dreaming. Her white eyeballs. Oh, you're dreaming. Oh my god, it's so funny. Sophie sleeps with her eyes open. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon on the next video. Bye for now. Tada. Bye-bye.
Bye.